Hi, welcome to the Online Jewelry Academy. I'm Professor John Ahr and I'm your instructor. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful forged cuff bracelet. Now, this is a totally doable project for anyone watching this video. You just need a minimum amount of skill and a minimum number of tools. So let me take you through it, and I bet you'll be making one by the end of the day. Okay, the first thing that you need to know is you do need a couple of pairs of pliers. In this case, I have a round nose pair of pliers and a flat nose pair of pliers. I also have a pair of diagonal cutters to cut the wire. Now, the wire that I'm using for this project is a 14 gauge round copper wire, and I'm using 4 feet of wire. Now, if you're a little bit more advanced, you could substitute the copper for silver and end up with a silver bracelet. Okay, in addition to the pliers that you're going to need for manipulating the wire, you're also going to need a cross-peen hammer. Now this hammer is the one that has a straight end to it, and notice that I've got a polished end to my hammer to make these hammer marks nice and shiny. To form the bracelet after I've completed the forging operation, I have a rawhide mallet that I'm going to use to strike the bracelet blank against one of my mandrels. And here I have a metal mandrel that is an oval shape that's perfect for making a cuff. If you don't have a lot of money, you might have been able to have watched our make your own mandrel out of a bat video, and maybe you've made this baseball mandrel for just a few dollars. The last thing that I recommend that you have, or actually two things, are a striking surface. This is a bench block. You can get this from any jewelry supply company. And I also recommend wearing your safety glasses. You never know what can happen when you're hammering on something. Hammers could chip, or even the wire could get cut off and jump towards your eye. So be careful when you make this project. Okay, the first thing I want to do is talk about the length. Remember, I said that this is 4 feet of wire. Now, this can be a little bit unruly, and the safety glasses are important because you don't want the ends of these wires hitting your eyes. All right, so carefully take the ends of the wire. Now, this wire has been pre-annealed. We have a video on that if you want to see how to anneal the wire. Or you could probably buy a dead soft wire from a jewelry supply company. Either way, it needs to be soft. So I have the two ends of my wire, and I'm going to pull in order to make a very long U-turn. And you can see the end of the wire just does this. It doesn't make this beautiful sensual curve here. That is done with the hammer. Gives it sort of like an Art Nouveau sort of feel. Okay, when you get the wire to this point, pick up your rosary pliers, place them in the middle of that, and just give it a tug. Okay? If you notice, the middle part of the bracelet is about 2 inches long. So what you want to do is, you can measure if you like, or you could just eyeball it. And this is about 2 inches. And all you're going to do is just take the pliers, hold the wire, and give it another turn. And you just repeat this back and forth until you end up with, ta-da, this. And that crazy little zigzag is going to become your bracelet. Now, what you may want to do is start in the middle, because it's going to stretch. And you may want to bend the piece a little bit, just like that, so that you're only striking one area at a time. Now, if you notice in the bracelet, all of the lines are running the same direction and they're all parallel to one another. So that means that you have to be very consistent with your hammering. So I'm going to use the flat end of the cross-peen hammer, which, by the way, it moves metal in only 2 directions, either this way or this way. The other side of the hammer is like stepping on a cockroach. It just splats everything in every direction. So we want to control our hammering. All right, so I want my lines to be nice and straight, so I'm going to hold my hammer in the same position with a good grip, and I'm just going to anchor the bracelet blank to the surface of the bench block with my fingers. Now, pay attention and watch where you're hitting because you don't want to hit your fingers. And what I would do is start up and about the middle area of this first curve and just start hitting. Now as you're hitting, you're stretching towards you. And when you get towards this end, you want to concentrate on the end to give it a nice elongated effect. Watch, I'll do it for you right now. You can go back up and down, adding lines as much as you want. You can create a nice crosshatch pattern if you want. It's up to you. Be creative and enjoy yourself. Okay, so we would continue with this going over the entire surface of the bracelet until we're finished. And if you noticed, I left the ends a little bit long. I did that on purpose. I want to give myself enough room to create a logical ending to the bracelet that's going to feel comfortable on the body. And what I've done on this sample here is I hit the pieces to elongate and thin them, and then I rolled them back on themselves. So let's jump ahead to the end so that you can see how that's done. So by the time that you're done striking this, you've probably already hit this last piece. Let's just hit it just to finish it out. Okay, good enough. So we have this piece sticking out. Now, what you could do is, if it's very, very long like this, you could just trim it back as far as you think you need to. So I'm just going to cut it just a little bit. And what I want to do is flatten this end. So I'm going to use the flat surface of the hammer and just flatten it out. Now, if you want to, you can actually even elongate that a little bit. Just turn it over, and then that way it will kind of blend in too. So I'm just going to strike it a little bit. Okay, so that end is now tapered down, so it thins as it gets to the end. Then what I do is I just take the rosary pliers or the round nose pliers, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the end of it, and I'm going to grab somewhere near the tip of the pliers, just like that. And all I want to do is start to just make a nice curve. And I'll just keep curving it until that piece rolls back onto itself. Now you've got pliers. I've got a little bit of a kink right there, no problem. I can take another pair of pliers and just straighten that out. That's why you want to work with multiple sets of pliers. Okay, so that's done. Now, when you get the piece completely texturized and the ends finished, what you want to do is put your mandrel into your vise, and you'll switch hammers. You don't want to leave any more marks on your piece, you just want to form it. The rawhide mallet is soft enough that you can strike the piece without leaving any additional marks. Now, one of the things that you may discover is that when you've hit the piece with the Cross-Peen Hammer on the bench block, this may become so work hardened that when you take it to your mandrel, it just is springy. No matter how many times you hit it, it just springs back. Well, you need to re-anneal it. But don't anneal it too much. Don't turn it till it's red hot. Don't heat it till it's red hot. Just lightly anneal it so that you take some of the tension out of the metal. Then it should do what you want to do. Remember, what you're going to do is you're going to start near the top at the most acute angle of the mandrel, and you're going to form that end here. So what happens is using my hands as an example, you want to curl the ends of the bracelet first and then bring them up and around and then push that center part into the correct shape in order to create the cuff bracelet. I hope you have fun making cuff bracelets like this. We have plenty of videos on our playlist. You can find all of them here on YouTube on our homepage, or you can check us out at www.onlinejewelryacademy.com to find our complete playlist on our website. There you'll find information on how to make this bat mandrel and how to use it. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll check out other videos and consider subscribing to our channel. Just click in the lower right-hand corner on the OJA's Subscribe Now button, and you'll be immediately turned into a subscriber, which means you'll get weekly notifications of new releases. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and if you're so inclined, you can fan fund us as well. Thanks for watching.